Catter's in, born under the TIEEE 3-star sign. Dreamer ruins her life over Stellarblade by Rev Says Desu. What happened? Let's find out here.
Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So for months now, there's been a lot of drama surrounding the game Stellar Blade, and just when you thought this discourse couldn't get any crazier, something else happens. And that something else is another bounty being placed on someone's head, a threat to their life, because they called out the censorship of this game. Which is confirmed, by the way. It's more than just outfits. There's multiple aspects of Stellar Blade.
Even if it worked, why would you do that? Do you think it would do anything about the structure that produces those problems?
That have been censored, and these changes have been acknowledged by the director of Shift Up, and all of this is a direct contradiction to the way that this game was advertised as an uncensored release. Now, one of the main people leading the charge against the censorship of Stellar Blade has been Mark Kern, or known as his Twitter handle, Grums. He has been calling out these acts of censorship and created a petition that hopes to revert these acts of censorship. Now, he's been targeted by a lot of people who are trying to attack him for calling out these acts of censorship, and he was once again trending yesterday, and for some absolutely vile reasons. Now, we covered this tweet,
also called concern trolling,
a few videos ago, where someone offered $20,000 to anyone who could make Mark Kern disappear. This is responding to a tweet where he is showing uncensored outfits of Eve, so you can compare them to the censored versions. This is the reaction someone had. A literal crime, by the way, putting a bounty on someone's life. Now, of course, I would cover that in a video that later Asmongold would react to yesterday called Normal People React to Stellar Blade Censorship, and we would get a reaction-ception here when the Twitch streamer Denims TV would react to Asmongold's video reacting to my video. However, in her reaction, she would up the bounty to $30,000, the bounty on Mark Kern's head.
Like, what is this nonsense? Why is there a bounty? I don't understand.
Listen, I'll up the number, okay? 30K to anyone who'll make this dipshit disappear and make Eve's breasts bigger. Okay, you have to do both. All right? Because then it's a win-win for me.
Like, why would you meme like that? This is not good.
I get more breast, and I don't have to see that moron on my timeline anymore. So if you think about it.
What?
Now, in case you're wondering at home, based on a fair interpretation of the law, what she did, what she said in that clip, might constitute a felony in the United States.
Also that.
Now, for those who don't understand what constitutes something as a felony, that means the violation of that law carries a minimum of 1 year in prison. So what she did might actually land her in some very serious trouble. And no, adding the little joke at the end about Eve's boobs does not somehow cancel out what she had already said. Now, because she was reacting to Asmongold's video about this threat, there is some confusion as to whether she was addressing this comment towards Mark Kern or Asmongold's or both of them. And this was Asmongold's reaction to seeing this clip.
Because then it's a win-win for me.
What a retard.
I get more breast, and I don't have to see that moron on my timeline anymore.
Oh my god.
So if you think about it.
Well, she's so aggressive? Well, it's simple. So how do you deal with a situation like this? It's really easy. I contacted Twitch about it earlier. I sent them the clip, and we'll see what happens. And, you know, maybe after that, I might put in a police report. I'm gonna just wait and see how things play out. This is unhinged. It's
sounds fair.
Completely unhinged. It's totally uncalled for. Yeah, this is like a felony. What is this? She's got me on the screen, and she's saying that. Yeah, so I did see this. I thought it was quite ridiculous. It's actually kind of a surprise.
So obviously, like we've said, this is a very serious situation where what she said very clearly at the minimum violates the terms of service of all of the related platforms, and also, as many people claim, has also broken the law.
And like, I disagree with everyone, at least sometimes. It's like, what could have possibly happened that made her think that this is something to joke about? I don't understand. Stay safe out there, also as a content creator, because you don't want to become that person, you know what I mean?
As well, she is in some hot water. She's going to be dealing with a lot of headaches out of the situation, which of course is a self-inflicted wound. She said this under no pressure. She did this openly, and it's recorded in front of a live audience for everyone to see. Now, there's been a lot of reaction to this tweet that's going around, and here's some of the more popular responses. This user saying, wow, I got to look up what this guy did to get them to this point. Oh, he just said video games shouldn't be censored. Here's another one from Chibi Reviews saying, this is all over Stellar Blade, by the way. Woke up seeing a streamer putting a literal death bounty on someone's head for not liking censorship. This person legit needs mental help.
Yep, and meanwhile, we got actual censorship getting passed in the US Congress and whatnot. It's like, hello? What is going on?
Yeah, I feel like when you get kind of lost in the woods here, you're doing all these arguments and people are getting, back and forth with each other. You kind of forget what we're talking about. Obviously, these issues are important, right? Nobody wants the censorship of Stellar Blade. People want.
By the way, if you feel like there's things taking place that are crossing a line or whatever, it's like, enforce the law and don't pass new law censoring speech. What in the world?
Speak out against it and get it reverted, hopefully, right? It's important to a lot of people, but it's not life and death. It is not life and death, and we're at a point where people are putting multiple bounties on people's heads over the situation, over calling out censorship of a video game. If that is your reaction to someone calling out censorship, you are not well. If you're wishing harm upon someone based on that, you are not well. And in this situation, it's very odd because we've seen all kinds of death threats be thrown at Asmongold, Mark Kern, even myself, from just random Twitter users, but you don't see people who are established Twitch streamers do stuff like this. I mean, that's why it's so crazy. But moving on to another comment, this user said, the craziest part is if Grums threatened someone like that, no one would view it as a joke and it would make national headline news. And that is very true. If Mark Kern had made a threat like this against someone else, he would be annihilated. He'd be wiped off the face of the earth. Every platform he was on would be removing him, right? I think that's very obvious. However, in this situation, people are actually trying to defend what she said and act like it's not that big of a deal. But we know if the roles were reversed in the situation, they would not be feeling the same. People would not have the same view because they dislike Mark Kern and they're trying to defend anyone who is going after him. And also this idea, if Mark Kern did this, people like me and other people who have been supportive of him would be critical of him if he made this threat. In fact, if Mark Kern had made a bounty like this against someone else, I would have immediately dropped any support for him because that would be unhinged. But in this situation, people are trying to justify it because they don't like him. In fact, this part about the joke is something that a lot of people are doing. People are trying to claim this is just a joke. And if this was, of course...
Even if it is just a joke, it is exceptionally in poor taste.
Reverse roles, they would not claim it was a joke. You can see Caseytron here saying this. Imagine your biggest problem in life is female video game characters not showing enough skin, and when people make fun of you for it, you pretend that you're getting death threats. The only thing you're a victim of is your own porn sickness. Of course, calling everyone you don't like a porn addict, how mature. But also you can see multiple layers of denying the truth. They're trying to act like the censorship is only down to the outfits, when we know it's about more than just that. It's also about broken promises from Stellar Blade. They're trying to minimize what people are actually complaining about. And then the same...
I do see that the PlayStation 5 store probably had something to do with this. So, they were promised that it's not going to be censored. It's like, use common sense, okay? On that one, use common sense. Thank you.
Breath are trying to claim that he wasn't getting death threats. The clip is literally right there where she puts a bounty on his life. You can put the evidence and shove it right in their face and they will still say it didn't happen. Whether it's with the censorship or with these threats, they just pretend like it's not there because it suits their own agenda. In fact,
yeah, this is pretty bad, regardless of the promises or whatnot.
In fact, I think Caseytron's just mad because the other day she tried to go after Asmongold and he absolutely annihilated her with this reply. I think she's still mad about this. That's why she's making those comments. But moving forward, here's another comment saying, doesn't matter what you think of him, putting out hits, especially publicly like this, is not something that's a joke or funny. There is no grounds for free speech here. This is inciting physical harm against someone. I mean, how do you explain this any other way than exactly that? This is not free speech. Free speech has its limits. You can't incite violence against people. What is she doing when she puts a bounty on someone's head and has a bounty out for their life? What is that other than inciting harm against someone else? And here's Legal Mindset, obviously an attorney, and this is his perspective on the situation, saying, the comments hilariously destroy this woman, but the reality is, this is a clear unfair application of TOS. Twitch, YouTube, and X suspend accounts for saying far less and without direct threats of violence. And adding in a comment about Eve's breasts at the end does not change anything. She probably thought she was smart doing so. It's like...
But the thing with the TOS is, in the first place, a TOS is about protecting the company from legal liability, right? And then TOS is being used in a way that whatever company like or doesn't like, they do whatever they want. So, of course, it's gonna be unfairly applied, right?
People who say, in Minecraft, right? You'll see someone make a threat against someone else and they'll say, well, in Minecraft. That does not, escalate that or de-escalate it to something lower than a threat. It's still a threat, even if you add in a little quib like that to make it a joke. It's still a threat. And she is aware of this. So when this initially happened, her own viewers were saying that she did something very, very seriously wrong and said that they were calling the police on her over this threat. And this was her initial reaction to people saying that.
She's living in her own little community where she could never be wrong about stuff like that, about her jokes being a little over the top, maybe. That is not why you want to be on the internet.
I just love holding streamers accountable.
That is a funny way to put it, though.
Sir, if you show a cop that clip, he's gonna laugh in your face. Half of that clip is me talking about liking big boobs.
Well, as you can see, she's not laughing anymore. As this clip went
It shouldn't be that hard, actually.
viral on Twitter, she immediately privated her account and she has gone into hiding, which is not surprising. All of these people who make these crazy statements, the second they face any consequences or criticism, they immediately private their accounts. We've seen it happen with pretty much every single person involved in the Stellar Blade fiasco, and it's just predictable at this point. But really, the takeaway from all of this is people have gotten way too comfortable saying the most outrageous stuff on social media. I get it, okay? Some of these things are heated topics. People insult each other, people make fun of each other, people criticize each other. But when it gets to a point where a conversation about censorship of a video game gets to a point where people are having threats on their lives, like, what are we doing? People are way too comfortable, and this Mike Tyson quote will live on forever because people keep doing this. People keep acting.
What's wrong with having comfort in life? It doesn't mean you need to be a hive mind.
Like they can say whatever they want with no consequences just because they feel basically empowered by their moral disagreement over censorship of a video game character and how we should view it.
Zero friction, people agree with you who already agree with you, so there's almost no value in people agreeing with you on the internet. Or disagreeing, for that matter, because it's also so low friction. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind reading comments if they're like, you know, long. That's one measure of something being actually worthwhile. If somebody wrote something long, or maybe they made a video, just add some friction to the interaction. You know what I mean? So at least mentally, I add a lot more value to that, right? Like, and also because there is something there to entertain. You know what I mean? Anyway.
But moving forward, here's Mark Kern's response to everything. He says, yes, I'm upset about a streamer upping the joke bounty on my head, but I deleted everything except the video clip to keep the focus. All this because people want to stop the petition. Sign it today and make it all worth it. You can see his petition and the related hashtag Free Stellar Blade, which unfortunately now has been censored by Twitter. This is not too surprising. They tend to clamp down on things like this.
Okay, that's kind of crazy. I feel like censoring the petition is doing more than actually people signing the petition. That is fascinating.
All the time, but the hashtag Free Stellar Blade has been censored on Twitter. But despite this hashtag being hidden by Twitter over 24 hours ago, in that
and also totally distract from actual legislation getting passed, cutting back on freedom of speech.
same time period, the petition has grown by over 20,000 signatures, and it's now up to 55,000 in total, which is absolutely crazy. And again, I'll put a link to this in the description. Go ahead and give that a signature and add your support to this campaign. So hopefully we can get these censorships rolled back. Now, again, I think it's important to take a step back and just realize how far things have gone. A conversation about censorship of a video game has led to such extreme reactions, and the people making...
Yeah, I feel like making videos may actually be a lot more potent than signing a petition. I'm not saying you shouldn't sign that petition. It's maybe nice to get a W there, but think about it like building momentum, right? Like you're building momentum in your life, and maybe you're gonna reach out and look at other more potent forms of getting active, getting in there, developing your understanding. There are experts all over the place on YouTube and on blogs. Plenty good info out there.
These threats and alike, they think they're the normal ones in this situation, and it's totally insane. It is hard to understand why people are so threatened by someone calling out very visible censorship of a video game that they were promised, that the customer was promised wouldn't be censored. Why are people so angry about those calling it out? It's truly a head scratcher. And before we go, there's one more thing I want to point out. So you guys know I work with Advanced GG, and they have new lines of stuff coming out here. You can see their nice selection here. I always love this little formula setup they got for their focus, energy, and hydration. And I wanted to add this in at the end because they returned the lemonade hydration flavor, which I know is a fan
Alrighty, is this it?
favorite. Hope you guys, and I'll see you guys next. So as always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys next time.
That was interesting. I hope you enjoyed the vid. I will link this below. Do leave him a like. And I hope you enjoyed my commentary as well. Do leave a like and all the good stuff over here too. Please think about sharing. If there's something in there you want to discuss with somebody, you can share it with. Think about sharing with somebody who would discuss you on that. Just think of it as a thought experiment and have a bit more high friction social media interactions, not just the low friction stuff, right? Anyway, stay safe out there. Hope we meet again. And don't forget, get a hat for yourself, and you are a moral actor. Unlike a company, which will always hire the people over time that make the company stay around, obviously. So, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's tricky. Anyway, a good one out there.